In the last episode, we talked about creating space to actually hear God, even when life is loud. And so today we're going to be talking about what to do once you hear Him, because a lot of us are still trying to do everything and it is not working. So I really need you to hear me on this. I need you to receive it. We were not designed to do everything every day. Just like me recording this podcast, it was Mother's Day weekend. And I fully expected to just be chilling in the house, but my mom, my grandmother, my aunt, my mom, my grandmother, my aunt, and myself, along with my cousin, actually went out for dinner. Like my cousin treated us to dinner on Saturday, and it was really nice, y'all. Like seriously, it was. But that was not something I was like really anticipating. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna be chilling. I'm gonna record my podcast. And yeah, no, dinner was good. It was fun. Like, so by the time I got back home, I was like laid out. And then, of course, on Mother's Day, I was like, oh, baby, I'll record the podcast later. Later came and went because guess what? That kid started coughing again. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So again, we're not designed to do everything every day, and that's okay. I work out early in the morning, but do I do it every day? No. I actually go to the gym on Mondays. Did I go? No. Why? Because, well, I didn't get any sleep, but you know, I'm just in a season of if I'm not feeling it, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not going to go, especially something like the gym chat. I mean, I know I work out a lot, but it's not necessarily my favorite place. But anyway, we're not designed to keep posting and, just doing client work, doing the corporate job. It's just like we are not designed to do all of these things at once. And it's also nice to stop and slow down and think about just being present. I think that's the season that I'm in, just being present. And when we're doing all of those things, we are not stewarding our time well, our health well. We are just not doing those things. And it can lead us to burnout. It's really self-destruction with a productivity aesthetic because people love to be like, oh, be productive. And yes, I at one time was a productivity coach, and I will still preach productivity, but you have to do it in a way that works for you. You can be productive and still get things done, but a lot of us are what's the word? We're confusing productivity with busyness, but that's something else that we could talk about a little bit later. And so today we're going to be talking about what it looks like to do less on purpose, so you can build more of actually like what matters. So welcome back to Conversations with the Courageous Christian Homegirl. And I am your host, Whitney. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are not new here, hey girl, thank you for returning, honey. I be seeing the downloads. Y'all rocking with your girl, and I so appreciate that. So continue to share, continue to post, continue to download, and please leave reviews, y'all. Please, 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 please leave reviews, okay? So this is episode 5 in the Hear God Then Build series, and so we're almost at the end, and I do want to say episode 6 is going to be a good one. I'm going to have a special guest, but we'll talk about that. Not right now, okay? You'll just hear from the special guest. So make sure you guys tune in next week, but let's focus on this week. So, you've done the inner work. We've talked about clarity, comparison, the word, hearing God, and now it is time to get practical. How do you actually build, what God has told you to build while still working a full-time job, child? That is Oh my God. Let's start right here. Okay. Look, we finna start right here. In 2024, I was doing all the things. Oh, child, I almost dropped my phone. And no, I did not edit that out. In 2024, I was doing all the things. I was doing the prayer calls, the Bible studies, running a business, not only running a business, but a community. It was a lot of work. And then 2024 warfare hit bad. It was just really a lot going on, and I just really felt all out of sorts. I just felt like I was showing up everywhere. I felt like, I was reading all these different Bible study plans and devotionals and all these different fasts. And I'm saying yes to everything and going the extra mile for everybody. But y'all know that people don't go the extra mile for you, right? Okay. Anyway, I was going the extra mile for everybody. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm being obedient. I'm being the best Christian ever. I'm being faithful. all these things. And I was worn out. I was resentful. I was scattered and nothing was moving forward. I didn't even want people to ask me to pray for them. And I've mentioned this before, probably on like YouTube or something like that. But that was the real. I'm like, please, like y'all, I'm fighting for my life and y'all talking about pray for me. Baby, I done prayed enough. Go listen to one of them recorded prayer calls, okay? And I want to say, was that the year that I did 31 days of prayer? I don't even remember, but yeah, that's really the mood that I was in. And I mean, I'm not afraid to say it. And so, that is truly what I see when women come to me for like clarity sessions too. Sometimes we confuse being busy with being faithful. And sometimes that leads to overwhelm, that leads to being stuck. And we need to slow down. What are you trying to actually build and what goes into it? And everything does not have to be released all at once. I know one of my clients that freed her, honey. That freed her. Everything does not have to be released at once. So that process of slowing down and filtering what matters and building in real time is exactly what I talk about in the Hear God Then Build worksheet. And so that is something that you do. And that's something that we also, talk about in our strategy sessions as well, is slowing down and really getting clarity on what God wants you to do in that season. Okay. So I'm going to make some points as I always do. And y'all, sorry if I'm sounding nasally. I told you that kid was sick and I felt like he trying to pass it to me because why you coughing my face, little boy? Point one. Diligence is not the same as hustle. Proverbs 21:5 says the plans of the diligent lead to abundance, not the plans of the busy, not the plans of the hustler. The diligent means intentional, focused, purposeful. Hustle is hustle. You're just out here doing everything and anything and hoping it works. But when you're diligent, you're strategic. You say yes to the right thing and execute them. And so God is not asking us to hustle. I don't think he's ever asked us to do that. He wants us to be diligent with what he has, given us. Those are just not the same thing. Like, it's just not. I mean, I know, in this world they teach hustle culture, but y'all, we really got to slow down. Point number two, everything is not your assignment. I learned the hard way in 2024. Yeah, everything and everyone is not your assignment. You don't have to say yes to everything and everybody. When you say yes to the wrong thing, that is a no to what God is actually assigning to you every single time. You don't have to. I want us to start slowing down and really start thinking about, okay, is this something God wants me to do? Is it's going to take away from my assignment? Pray about that thing before you do it. Now, sometimes you just know. Sometimes you just know, like, sometimes you just know, but other times it's like, let me think about that. So I do listen to Pastor Battle from Zion Church, and he actually preached on this very thing, and it changed my life. And so I'm going to share a little bit with you. So he broke down how when you say yes to things, that costs time. So a phone call that's supposed to be 30 minutes turns into 2 hours. A speaking engagement that's 1 hour costs you 5 or 6 because then you have to prep, you have to travel. It's just a lot of things that goes into it. So that 1 hour of yes becomes 5 hours of yes. And so then you're sitting like, dang, that was my day off or I had this to do. And you're like, you're just so wrapped up in something else. And now you're not building what God has told you to build. And that sermon changed my life because when I do say yes to things, I just kind of allocate like, okay, yes, I said yes to this. So now I need to prep for this. Okay, how much time is it going to take? Like, these are the things that I'm thinking about because it's never just 1 hour. In corporate, they'd be like, oh, can we have a quick call? It's never just a quick call. I am here to tell you, spoiler alert, it's never just a quick call. It's never just a quick word. It's never have I ever just had a quick anything. That quick is going to go 10 minutes over, 15 minutes over. I'm just saying, in the Bible, in Mark, I believe it talks about how Jesus withdrew before daybreak. Like he withdrew, he went into isolation, everybody looking for him. And it's like, boundaries are not selfish. They're really strategic and it's okay. It's okay to turn your phone on silent. It's okay to, be like, hey, I'm not doing any work on this day. And those are things that I am really starting to do like on Sundays or after a certain time. Like I don't want to meet on Fridays. No meeting Fridays, like, with clients, like, that is just not something I am going to do unless it's, like, you have no other time, but Fridays are, like, my slow down day for me, and I need to decompress, and so I don't want to have client calls. Now, if they're before 12, I'm still kinda like, "Okay," but after 12, baby, I don't wanna do anything. I don't wanna talk to anybody, and on top of that, my son is home with me. So it's like on Fridays, he's home. It's just hard to juggle. So if I do a call, it has to be when he's napping. And usually when he's napping, I'm trying to lay down as well because chances are I've been up for a while. Okay. So that's point number two. Let's move into point number three. Scope creep is still in your calling. Okay. It is something that I do see and it's called scope creep. Now that's a project management term, corporate term, whatever. I'm going to break it down. And it happens in three ways. First, you don't define your deliverables. You don't define the tasks up front and you end up saying yes to extra things. So if let's say somebody wants you to do something, right? And you don't ask all of the intricacies of it. They're like, "Oh, I want you to speak." Okay, cool. And you just say yes. And then they come back and they're like, "Oh, okay, here's the requirements or agenda or whatever it is." And you're like, "Wait, I got to do it on this day. What time? Like what's expected of me? Am I expected to promote? Am I expected to, just all of these things?" And it's like you didn't think about that. You just said yes. So we have to slow down and, stop saying yes to every single thing. So, now that you've got all the things going and none of them are done because you done just said yes to everything, to something and, you're just all over the place. Okay. Second, you're a people pleaser who says yes, even when you don't have the capacity. Lord have mercy. I'm so glad I have been freed from being a people pleaser. I don't care who it is, family, friend, just the only person I'm trying to please is the Lord. But I stopped saying yes to things when I don't have the capacity. This week, next week, I don't have the capacity. I won't have capacity until the second or third week of June. I no longer say yes, even if I have a day off, even if I have a little bit of time. I'm not saying yes. Like even on yeah, I think I sent out an email last week and I was like, "Hey, normally I take a sabbatical in like July, August or whatever. Baby, I'm taking part of it now because I'm like, I don't have the capacity. I am getting ready to, head out of town and I just don't want to feel like, well, I got to do this. I'm not saying yes to anything new. If it didn't happen last week or get on my calendar, it's not happening. Like it's just not. I can't do it. And that is okay. I am focused on me. I am focused on making sure the family is good. And that's it. That's all. Okay. Third, you confuse going the extra mile with, like, I'm like, you just go the extra miles, no boundaries around it. Like, if that makes sense. You need to have boundaries. And that kind of goes into like the people pleasing too. "Oh, I'm going an extra mile." No, honey, you're overworking yourself. Like, "Oh, I'm going the extra mile." Nobody told you to do that. "Oh, I'm just gonna do it." No, these are all things that we call scope creep. These are all things that will sneak into your purpose and delay you. And, we try to even do that with the Lord. He'll tell us to sow something, sow a certain amount into somebody, and we'll be like, "Well, I'm gonna just add a little tax." He ain't asked you to do that. He just didn't. He didn't ask you to do that. So stop trying to go the extra mile. Okay. And so this is what we actually work through inside my clarity session. So if you're doing too much right now, giving away your expertise for free, can I remember the last time you said no? You don't need more capacity. You need more wisdom and discernment. First of all, you need boundaries and you need to book a call with me. Okay. So, of course, we are going to apply some things this week. I want you to write down everything you think you should be doing in your business right now. Everything. Then circle only three things. And if done consistently, you're going to move forward. Cross those things off. Because I've been doing that in Notion. Like I make a to-do list and I cross it off. And it's like really helped me. So I want you to do that this week. Okay. And I want you also to know, don't be so hard on yourself. You are not falling behind by doing less. You're finally catching up. to the pace that God actually set for you. And that pace is sustainable. It is purposeful. It leads somewhere real. And so, in episode 6 of this series, we're actually going to bring everything together. We are going to tie it all in. Okay. So I do want to say, you can actually text me now. So you can text the word podcast to 708-708-9318. If you want to submit questions, comments, reviews, just say hey, whatever, you can text me again the word podcast to 708-708-9318. All right, y'all, I'm wrapping up this episode. I love you all, and please leave a review, and I will talk to y'all next week.